Here are 4 positions that you can use to help you assess your mobility, access more mobility, and improve your mobility. So you can call them positions, call them movements, exercises, what have you. The first one is going to be a squat position. So get back in frame where we're just going to be squatting and holding. What I want you to do to assess is to take note. Where is the tension? If I have to guess, you're going to have a lot of tension probably running through the knees, perhaps through the calves and ankles, and definitely in the hips, kind of groin area, and also outside of here. So you may find yourself kind of being real high and tight like that. So using this as an assessment to identify, okay, where is there the most tension? So that's the first position. Second position, we do this, it's gonna be 90-90, so 90 degrees in the front. Technically it's 90 degrees in the middle and 90 degrees in the back. So here, sitting real tall. This is the second position, it's called the 90-90. It'll help you assess kind of where the tension is on the outside of the hip, usually on the inside. Again, if you feel it in the knee region, if you feel a lot of tension running down here, we're gonna address that in just a little bit. So this is the 90-90. The third position is gonna be what I call the open 90. I think it might be called the half split, I'm not sure. So the open 90. The open 90 here, I like to use this, by the way, to test the internal rotation to assess, address, access, internal, and improve internal rotation, but also the hamstring, and just depending on how tight you are. Again, if you're feeling it around the knee, most likely this hip region is going to be pretty tight. It may be even difficult to sit up. So you may find some tension kind of on this hip region. So the open 90 after the 90-90, after the squat position. Okay, and then the last, but certainly not least, is the hip flexor position. So if you're doing a hip flexor stretch, we've done this one before. I like to use this to assess, obviously, hip flexion. It's the hip flexors. So by putting them on stretch, I have my glute flexed, I have my hip kind of tucked underneath, and I can roll forward, get some tension here in the front of the thigh, and I can lean back and kind of assess what's going on in my hamstrings and moving around. So when I say assess, when you get in any one of these positions, you're just kind of moving around, you're scanning to see kind of what, where's tension, and we'll come back to find how we can address that. So if you're feeling that knee pain, we're going to address that. Most likely what you're experiencing, if you're feeling knee pain in either one of your knees, on the outside, wrapping around the leg or what have you, is a lack of internal rotation at the hip. A lack of internal rotation at the hip, meaning this is your hip, and it's designed to move in all sorts of like global rotations, but there's external rotation. So think about, like, if you're doing a squat, you're externally rotated. Then there's internal rotation. So internally rotating, so taking that hip and rotating inward. Most likely, if you're feeling a lot of tension in that squat position, chances are there's going to be a limit on the internal rotation. Give you a little bit of a better view would be, this movement. So external rotation is here, internal rotation is here. Now, there's a ton of ways to address it, but let's stop here and just see what this assessment is like. Getting into the squat position, getting into the 90-90, the open 90, the hip flexor, and just identifying, okay, I feel the most tension in this position, I feel it in this particular area, maybe my calves or my hamstrings. And also take note during the assessment, if there is like any one of those positions, I feel it. I feel tension in all those positions. Like I feel tension in this particular area in all those positions. That's a key indicator that that's where we should start. So when you're doing your assessment for your mobility, specifically around the hips, those are 4 positions that you can use to help you identify and prioritize what to address. So before we get to the exercises, let's see where we need to address through the assessment. Hope this is helpful. If you like this video, like it, subscribe, hit that bell as they say, and I look forward to hearing from you. Love you. See ya.